What is up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Griff and welcome to the Angry Astronaut. Today, we're going to be looking at a game that came out of nowhere from my perspective anyways, because I knew absolutely nothing about this game until probably about 3 months ago. So what I'm bringing you today is a first look at Hellion, a game that's supposed to be set far into the future, the same solar system that the game gets its name from. Hellion is a brand new survival game in a genre that already feels overdone, so what could it possibly bring to the table that's different? Well, for one, it's one of the first space survival games that I've had the pleasure of coming across, and secondly, it's actually difficult to survive in. As Hellion is in early access and it just came out last week, I don't think it's fair to give it a full review because it very truly is in an actual alpha state. But I do think it's important to evaluate what we currently have, so that's what we're going to do today. So Hellion, as is today, is really a tech demo, and it's got issues, and it's certainly not perfect, but what really matters here is what does the game's first iteration show? Do the developers have a decent grasp on their project, and most importantly, do their ideas work? And overall, I would have to say that I'm impressed. The mechanics are solid, the gameplay is engaging, and the amount of stuff the developers have gotten done in the 1.5 years that they've been in development is impressive to say the least. Everything that you do in the game feels satisfying and realistic, and it's extremely immersive. There's something about the simplest of things, like having the ability to open and close your visor, that simply just grabs you and puts you on another level of immersion. The other thing here too is it's completely Newtonian. I mean, what you can expect in terms of mechanics is that this fully Newtonian physics-based world means that there are orbits, there's continued motion on an axis until you input force in the opposite direction, and there's also complex movement mechanics. The game really plays like an actual first-person space sim mixed with survival. On top of that, you can expect to see a fully realized atmosphere and pressure system. Oxygen is limited, and your atmosphere can be gone in a second if you mess up with your airlock. You can even get on somebody else's ship, steal their stuff, and then vent their atmosphere so when they come back, they have nothing. They're going to die. What you can also expect is to be on a constant struggle to keep enough resources to continually have enough oxygen as well as fuel to stay alive in the harsh environment that is space. You're going to be constantly finding resources and refining them, as well as scavenging for equipment and modules for your spaceship and station. Now, these modules that you use for your spaceship and your station are actually, they're needed because, take for example, the airlock. If you don't have an airlock, you are going to lose oxygen more quickly, and it's going to be harder to actually stay alive. So this is kind of where it starts to get a little shaky, and where the game really starts to show its alpha state. It's not perfect, and it doesn't try to be, at least not yet. It's got netcode issues. There is plenty of desync that happens when the servers start to fill up, and the game is riddled with odd bugs, from your character being stuck in a running animation while EVAing to just random death when going through an airlock. Now, these issues make it really hard to actually gauge the multiplayer aspect of this survival game, because for one, it's fairly difficult to find people because the game literally takes place in a full solar system, but you know, when you have 100-player servers and you can't actually fill those servers with more than 20 people without major networking issues, that really puts a damper on the actual multiplayer aspect of the game. It's almost impossible to find another player. Now, the fact of the matter is, besides just scavenging for gear here and there, and some resources to continue to be able to explore to get said gear, there isn't much to do currently. And a lot of the time while I was playing, even traveling to get material and gear wasn't that reliable because of how bad some of these desync issues were. And it's unfortunate because a lot of this game is going to be revolving around the multiplayer aspect. So until they can really fix that desync, it's really going to be extremely hard to actually gauge how this experience is going to be. There is certainly a long ways to go before this is a full game, but what really matters here is what they've shown to us so far. The platform is there for a very promising game. The only remaining question is, what is the dev team going to do with it? So what's on the horizon? Well, for one, I mean, Hellion is a game that the dev team hopefully aren't just going to settle on. They've so far been extremely active with the community in pushing updates to try and fix a lot of these bugs almost every day since it went into early access last week, which to me is definitely a good sign. And it gives me some confidence in that they're going to accomplish what they want to accomplish. The devs are already working on several more features to put into the game, such as a detailed crafting system, ship-to-ship combat, subsystem targeting, and spaceship repair, and the list goes on. There's really an actual plethora of things that these guys want to put into their game, and that's a good thing. If you want to see the full list, I'll put a link to their feature page in the description. But really, here's the biggest question. Should you buy it? In all honesty, Hellion in its current state is a tech demo. A very good and sound tech demo that has all the components and core mechanics that you want to see in a tech demo working well. At this point, if you're looking to get a full game or something to tide you over for several hours as a complete game, don't buy it. But the same can and should be said about all early access games. It's a true alpha, so unless you're looking to do testing and or you just want to financially support this project, I don't think I can recommend it at this time. That's not to say that the game doesn't have potential, because it absolutely does. It's just simply not a complete game yet.